All right, hear me out. I know I can't be the only one who's over the whole Crybaby Scott, aka Cyclops phase. But then, X-Men 97 had me doing the full-on Ric Flair woo when they finally gave us the Scott we needed. But this Scott? Oh man, perfect timing, stepping up as the leader for all mutants, making power moves, and even having the Hellions do his dirty work while keeping the government in check, all by letting them know he is not here to play games. Welcome back to Keepin' It Comic, and today we have to talk about X-Men 2024, issue number 10, because finally, they gave us exactly what we've been waiting for. Now look, the issue starts off at the base in Alaska, and they're already surrounded. And inside, someone says, the field team's action in Graymalkin have excited a response. O&E is here to arrest our comrades, and the rest of us most likely. And we can't skip homie over here with the bug eyes and a skillet in his hand ready to fight. And Magneto, in case you didn't know, he's sick right now. And he says, I will not allow that. And so homie with the frying pan goes, are we going to fight them? And someone says, oh God, they're gonna find out I didn't die in San Francisco. And another says, I don't even know what my mutant powers are. And Magneto says, the three of you are not warriors. You may be, but I will not spend mutant lives carelessly. Scorn and I will meet O&E's troops. Glob, you will pilot Henry's Quinjet and take Ben and Jennifer to safety. And Ben says, your powers don't work, Magneto. And Magneto's like, yeah, I know I'm sick, but it's my control over my mutant gifts that is deteriorated. The power itself is as strong as ever, maybe stronger. I am dangerous as ever. If not, more. And then Jennifer says, you'll die. And Magneto says, it would not be the first time. And man, I love this version of Magneto. I mean, I've always loved Magneto, but this is different for him. And Glob's like, what about the Avengers? Let's call the Avengers. Didn't we just make an alliance with them? And Magneto replies, I will not call upon others to fight my war for me. My dignity has suffered much lately, but there is a line. And Ben says, you want this. You want to go out in a blaze of glory. Scorn, don't tell me you accept this. You're a healer. And Scorn says, I save lives, Ben, but I have no claim over how they lived or ended. And Ben says, then I'm staying. I'll use my power. Manifest the aliens, the ships, all of it. We'll see how O&E's deals with that. And just then, someone says, it's not going to come to that. And we see the baddest entry the X-Men has probably made. And Cyclops says, we're back. Scorn, Hank has badly been beaten. Please see to him. And Magneto, you are not permitted to die yet. Do you understand me? Magneto says, do you have a plan, Scott? And he says, I always have a plan. Hellions protocol is online as of 20 minutes ago. Now, let's open a line of communication. He says, this is Cyclops speaking for the X-Men. Send me Agent, now hold on, I'm gonna tell you right now, I can't pronounce this man's name, so we gonna call him Agent L. So he says, send me Agent L, I wanna talk. And Agent L says, this a trick, Summers? You gonna say I provoked you as soon as I set one foot on factory territory? And Scott's like, I'm already far past provoked. So you've nothing to lose. Come in for a chat. I'll even buy you a beer. And so Agent L makes his way in and he goes, here I am. You ready to surrender? And Scott says, for what? Did we hurt you and yours? And Agent L is like, don't get cute. You and your X-Men attached Graymalkin prison with a gunship. Some in what I was told are demons. Damage property and hurt employees. And Scott's like, yeah, about that. August 2nd, 2002? And Agent L's like, that's supposed to mean something to me? And Scott's like, that was the day the American Service Members Protection Act was signed into law, which is informally known as the Hugh Invasion Act. Now, while this is all going on, there's activity going on at the O&E service facility in Chicago. And Scott's like, it gives the president the power to use, and I quote, all means necessary and appropriate to bring about the release of any U.S. or allied personnel being detained or imprisoned by, on behalf of, or at the request of the International Criminal Court, which is just an elaborate threat. If you take one of ours, regardless of the reason, we're going to come back and take them. And we get to see the Hellions in full team force. And oh man. And Scott's like, are you a Shakespeare guy? No, of course you're not. Hank is, though, the beast to you. And we were kids, we will pull pranks on him now and then. But he always got us back. Got us back worse than we ever got him. And he always quoted Shakespeare to us. The villainy you teach me, I will execute. And it should go hard. But I will better the instruction. And Agent L's like, you get hit on the head or something, Summers? You're babbling. And Scott gets right in his face and says, you're not listening. The attack on Graymokin? You taught us that villainy. You took one of ours, and we took them back. And this ticked Agent L off because he's like, you're not the US government, Summers. You can't act as if you were. And Scott says who? And now you come for us? And at that same time, King Bellum was like, what are you waiting for? Boom, boom, burn it down. We have a schedule to keep. And as you can see, they delivered. They burnt down this whole facility. And Agent L's over here getting ticked off like, we've got you dead to rights. You've got nothing in the tank after what you did in Graymokin. And Scott says, maybe, but you don't have superhumans. Tell me, what did the Avengers say when your superiors asked them to help on this op? And Agent L says, do you see any Avengers here? And Scott's response? We are in a state of Cold War, Agent L. You and I, and the powers we represent, I don't want to go against the government, but you've come to arrest all of us on behalf of Graymokin, a private entity, an entity that you afford outrageous latitude to because they've taken the Xavier problems off the government's hand. So that has to be paid for. You've pulled a knife, I've pulled a gun. And Agent L looks at his phone and he's like, what the hell? Chicago? But that's the least of his worries because now the Hellions are already in Missouri. And now they're at a different facility where they're taking out a Sentinel. And I mean, yo, we get a crazy shot of my man's over here shooting a Sentinel and taking it out. I mean, even his team member had to say, how the hell are you killing Sentinels with a pair of pistols? Adamantium jacket slugs? Interphase intermission? Antarctic vibranium bullets? And he just laughs it off and says, call it a trade secret, attribute to the style. And King Bellum's like, man, this facility's done for, basically. He's like, but Cyclops is still playing nice. And you can see the whole facility is up in smokes. And Agent L is like, burn the whole server facility? And Scott's like, oh, so you heard about Chicago? Well, just wait until you hear about Springfield. And Agent L is like, you sent your team out while you flapped your jaw at me? And Scott's like, my team? They're all here in the facility. Any difficulties that O&E might be having certainly have nothing to do with the X-Men. And you can see Agent L is pissed. He's like, don't lie to me, Summers. And Scott is pissed too. And he said, I told you, I was past provoked. And you can see this man is sweating bullets. And Scott's still hammering into him. None of your people will be killed, but the destruction of the material will be astronomical. I am making a point, and my agents will continue to make a point until you and your men have left Alaska. Every minute you stay here, more of O&E's operating budget is being eaten with repairs and resupply. More of O&E's capability to operate efficiently will be eliminated. This is what it looks like when you push me, Agent L. And man, Scott was not joking because the Hellions are now already in Colorado doing the same exact thing they did to the two other bases. Agent L's like, call them off, Summers, and he even pulls out a gun. And Scott nonchalantly is like, no, I'm fighting for a place in the world of my species. And Agent L's like, nice for you. Call them off or you won't live to see it. You just declared war. And Scott's like, I don't think you're hearing me. This isn't war. Not a hot one at any rate. MAD. You remember that? Mutually assured destruction? That's what it means if the X-Men and the federal government go to war. Real war. Let me spell it out for you. If I am murdered by a federal agent or other projection of the governmental force, then important sections of Washington, D.C. will very shortly cease to exist. And Agent L's like, you're bluffing. And Scott says, I'm not. You think I didn't plan for this? I don't have any nuclear weapons, but I do have mutants. How much damage would the Juggernaut do if I dropped him from orbit? Or if Scorn took off his helmet and exposed the star that makes up his head? And Agent L's like, if they do that, then that's it for mutants. It would be open season. You'd be extinct in a year. And Scott at this time, if you haven't noticed, sat the bear down and said, maybe if you can organize a response without a functioning government. How long until states begin to secede? Before foreign powers come sniffing around, landing troops to render emergency aid, never leaving. But hey, like you said, I won't be around to see it. Agent L's scared now. He's like, you'd kill all those people? And Cyclops loses it. He says, this is how brinkmanship works. I'm making your case for you, so you can take it back to your bosses and tell them that no matter how much they want to kill me, and I know they do, that it's not worth it. And then he grabs his hand and points the gun to his forehead and says, because while I've been ready to die for this mutant cause since I was 14, and I have done so several times, here's the long and short of it. If any of you have me murdered, then my wife will know, and she will grieve. And then the Phoenix will return to Earth for vengeance. And I don't know if the planet will survive that. So yes, I will threaten to destroy every institution of this nation if that's what it takes to get you to listen to me. Because I am looking out for you, all of you. And boy, was that the savagery I needed from him. Man, this man, Agent L's like, I'll go. I'll tell them, but you know as well as I do, this isn't over. And Scott says, it never is. So as Scott's getting another beer, Quentin walks in and he goes, so do I reach out now and tell the Hellions to stop? And Scott's like, yes, please do. So he does just that. And then he tells Scott, he said to remind you that King Bellum wants what's owed to him. And Scott goes, I'm well aware. Chris Erison wants a very specific head, and he wants us to deliver it to him. And Quentin goes, who? And Scott replies, don't worry about it for now. So Quentin asks Scott the question we needed to know. He goes, is it true? If you die, will the Phoenix burn the world? And Scott says, I can't rule it out. You were the host of the Phoenix. You know what it's like. And so Quentin says, so what do we do if you die? And Scott replies, if I die, then the X-Men will have to stop the Phoenix again, which means you, as an Omega telepath and former host, will have to stop the Phoenix. Come on, Quentin. Why do you think you're on my team? And oh man, listen, this Scott has planned everything from day one. And I mean, how much further has he planned ahead? He has Quentin on his team just in case he dies and the Phoenix returns to Earth to blow it up. And then had the nerve to threaten the government and say, listen, I'll drop the Juggernaut on y'all. That's gonna do more damage than your nuclear weapons. And don't have my wife come and take revenge for me. If you want to kill me, go ahead and try it. All I know is, I love when Scott gets savage. But hey, let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. And don't forget to like this video to help with the YouTube algorithm. And make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future content. Also, join our Patreon and follow us on social media. Links are in the description. And until next time, thanks for kicking it with Keeping It Comic.